welcome back to the workshop and my journey on where this workshop and its projects are going. And thanks ever so much for your support over the past few weeks as I've been going through the project to create a sewing box on legs for my wife. That's in use now. You'll have seen the final result and I'm pleased with it, and hope you found the journey and all its attendant mistakes interesting, and I'm grateful for the way that you've helped me with your suggestions. So my plan now was to start sorting out a bit of the workshop, but plans have had to be rearranged because there are some things that we need in the house, and like a shelf in the kitchen for example. So that's what I'm going to be doing first of all. It's a case of working out what I'm doing and how I'm going to do it. Part of it is creating, if I move the camera for you, where I've got the chisels over here, you'll notice, oops, where is it? There we go, just there. The brackets there I created quite some time ago with an OG type pattern. Now I had thought I can do something similar for the shelf in the kitchen, but that means that I'm going to need to cut some of those brackets, and for that I want to use the bandsaw, but the blade that it's got at the moment is the 10 to 14 teeth per inch, which is far too big for some of the radius cuts that I need to make. So my first job, and you'll have seen this before so I'm not going to bother you with it, is to swap the blade for the very thin blade that I've got, and that will mean I can do quite tight radii, and then we can start working out how we're going to be cutting things. So this is the blade that I'm going to be using. It's still only a 14 TPI, but it's the really thin 3/16 blade. Normally the blades that I use are 1/2 inch or 12mm. So I'm just going to fit this and then we'll crack on. Right, I've changed the bandsaw blade, and that's the template that I used for the existing shelf bracket. It was something I got from a plan many years ago. I've never really had the bandsaw capability to cut as cleanly as that, and so this is really just an experiment to see how I can do this. That's the existing template, but what I want to do is see if I can adjust its size by way of using the different sized bearings on router cutters. Cut one template and then use varying routers and bearings to vary the size of the actual work piece. So first thing off, I want to copy that onto a scrap piece of timber and then see how well I can cut to the line using this small bandsaw blade. So scrap piece of MDF, see how well that goes. So just checking it's relatively square, but I'll just actually mark round it, assuming that's the reference side. I'll just mark all around there. Okay, so That's that. Let's move the fence out of the way. I've got plenty of clearance for the blade. Make sure I've got enough speed. Let me try that, see what the speed's like. That was good. What went wrong there? Right, I think we've got there. I think what the problem was, I assumed that it didn't matter what blade I was using, I could just leave the tracking as it was. But it seemed as if the existing tracking was just allowing the blade to move forward on this top roller. So I've adjusted the tracking. Hopefully that's going to keep everything where it should. So let's just switch on and test. That seems to be working. At least it stayed on the wheel. So a little bit more speed. Let's try this. So that's one thing I've got to do, is take the guide on. Okay, try again. Now that has cut very, very nicely. Yes, it's a little rough, but I can soon tidy that up on a belt sander or something similar. But that cut very nicely on that tight radius, or on both of those radii. So that's the bandsaw. That will cope with what I want to do. Next thing, I'll just tidy that up, smooth it off. That's given me a bigger template, as in thicker, and I can use that by way of cutting with the router and guide bush. Well, the finish is much better, but I very definitely need some double-sided tape to hold that into place, because that is just not working. I just cannot hold it down properly. So that's something I'll need to get, but all in all, I'm pleased with the test. I think what I'll need to do is to actually cut that blank a little bigger than the template. So mark it off as I did, but then cut proud of the line rather than, as I did this time round, cut on the line. Cutting on the line proved I can do it with this bandsaw, that's fine, but with double-sided tape to hold the template on the workpiece, then I can trim much better. And okay, I'm learning, and that's the whole idea of the game. So that's as far as I'm going for this afternoon. I'm going to tidy up, and most of the afternoon has been taken up with the bandsaw problem, of course, with changing